Welcome to Men. Men is where we talk about issues affecting the society. It's not just about men, but men contribute to also the problems that we have. And today we have a very, very interesting guest. Huyu kidogo pale online kuna siku mulimpiga. But yeah, we are here to find out mbona mulimpiga. First of all, welcome the real Nick Ndeda.
Thank you for saying the real one. I mean, no offense to the other Nick. It's not that you're fake. It's just that you became famous after me. So
you just rode on your fame?
No, not really. And actually, this is a true story. My first encounter with Nick Ndeda, the lawyer, was in 2008. In 2008, he was in campus, Moi University. I don't know whether we share this story, Nick, but so Facebook, back in the day, because it's back in the day, Sindio, I get a Facebook message. I've never forgotten this message. It's read, "Can you please change your name? I am tired of people confusing me with you."
That's how the message was written?
That was the message. I look, I'm like, Nick Ndeda, I'm like, Moi University. I'm like, funny, you have the same name, but oh well, fuck you, whatever. And then we became friends like years later, now after the Betty Chalo thing happened. And then that's when now I met him face to face. And then we laughed about it. Yes, I even remember I told him, alikuwa mekach. This nigga was mad. He was like, he literally said, "Can you change your name?" So this was my response. I was like, "With all due respect, thank you very much for sending me this message. But you see, here is the thing. I am a radio personality. When I go on air every day, like I have for the last 1 year, I have been introducing myself as Nick Ndeda. What do you want me to say tomorrow when I go on air? Hi, this is not Nick Ndeda because the other Nick Ndeda is in Moi University. I am just a voice." I think he understood though. Shout outs to Nick Ndeda, but we need to hang out. He's cool.
How was that meetup? How was the first meetup?
The first meetup was very cool. So it was actually, he had a podcast, right? Oh. He had a podcast and he invited me to speak on it. And then Betty was a mutual friend. Well, more mutual to him. I wasn't sleeping with her, he was. But Betty and I have been friends like since 2010. Like she's been a friend of mine for years. Always champion her. Shout outs to you, Betty Chalo, keep winning. As much as people troll you, fuck them trolls. And also, just to jump on what you said, I think one of the best things that ever happened to my social media life was when people trolled me a few years back. Cause man, me, I used to be the guy I'll post, like I tweet like once a month. I'll post something on Instagram maybe once every 2 months. I never used to be active on socials, but my ex-wife was. So when trolling started happening, suddenly I'm getting numbers. I was like, And then that's literally how I started getting influencer jobs. It was just from numbers.
So it was just a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, man, it's like, it's how you look at these things. And also, you can't take trolling too hard. The internet is not a real place. Guys, it's not a real place. Tell them again. It's not a fucking real place. Don't ever get mad when someone talks shit about you, especially if you know it's not true. Because here is the thing. Yes, I understand the power of mass media and how it can influence the perception of our people. This is how wars happen. This is why people idolize celebrities. This is the reason why someone would be like, but all these politicians. In fact, a good example is politicians. 98% of the stories revolving around politicians are negative because a lot of politicians are corrupt, but not all of them.
Yeah, true.
But those few good ones, they'll be thrown in that same pool of, oh, you guys are all corrupt. And yeah, that's the power of mass media. It can really warp a people's perception. But you yourself, if you want to stay strong, just know that if you know it's not true, mboni na kusumbua. People called me a simp for days.
Yeah, I remember, man. Now since you're still talking about that, and this is very interesting because that is what we want to discuss. And we're discussing not about
simping.
Not about simping, but we're talking about so many things. But now since you started with simping, okay. I think it's just a good thing to ask you a very, very, very simple thing. Do you think masculine toxicity is a thing?
Do I think masculine toxicity is a thing? Absolutely. Masculine toxicity is a thing it's not a big thing, but it is a thing. And it's propagated it's propagated through very weird forms, especially media. And I'm talking music, I'm talking films. Yes, music and films are, in my opinion, I would say the top two culprits for the spread of, because okay, actually let's break this down. What's masculine toxicity?
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you.
I'd go like, okay, it is all the negative elements of being a man. And I'm like, okay, if there's negative aspects of masculinity, there's positive aspects. Why aren't these positives existing? Why aren't they higher than the negative? Or do they coexist? Is it some sort of thing? And then now you bring in the subject of people are very subjective. Someone might say masculine toxicity is not holding the door for a lady.
Yeah.
You know, it's not standing up for a woman, kwa matatu or something. Do they still do that? I think so.
You can't do that, Nick.
No, I was wondering, do they still do that thing?
Can you do that?
All the time. The only people that don't stand up for are kids. Fuck the kids. You're young. Ebu, stretch those fucking muscles, bruh. When I was a kid, I always stood. Of course, out of respect. But, by kids, I just mean anyone who's under 18. Unless you're disabled. It's different. But you're digressing. This is the point.
All right, let's go.
Masculine toxicity, right? It's so subjective. There are other people who will say masculine toxicity is beating your woman. There's people who will be like, but in our culture, beating, and even the women will say it. Not that I'm saying that it's right. I'm just giving an example that in some cultures, they'll be like, if my man beats me, that's a sign of love.
Yeah.
Other people will be like, if he beats you, that means he is crazy and he will probably kill you one day.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, masculine toxicity, it's a thing, but then it's because you move from one space to another, you'll find completely different explanations and definitions to it. But yes, does it exist? Absolutely. I guess it has to be seen from, you're calling it toxicity because to you, as the person being the recipient of this toxicity, it's negatively affecting your well-being and even your existence. If it's doing that, it's fucking up.
So do you think, still in that line of toxicity, do you think the boy child has been beaten down so badly that they don't know how to come out of it? Like in the sense that, do you feel like, because if today a video of you leaked online, you beating up a woman, that video will trend for days.
For sure.
But the opposite, if a woman beats you, people be like, ha ha ha, Nick was beaten by a woman, it's over. But now, the opposite, you'll be like, justice for. And we've seen it online. This is not something that I'm cooking up or we're cooking up here, but that's something that you've seen online. So do you think that the boy child has been really forgotten? Or like he doesn't have enough support to just be a man? Because I was reading the other day, like majority of the suicide cases we have in the country or in Africa rather are men. Men commit suicide more than ladies. And is that where is the problem?
I think here's what I think, and this is 100% the views of Nick Ndeda, not the other Nick Ndeda. But like literally, this is how I look at it. I feel that men, especially in Africa, I will not speak for any other continent because you guys have to deal with your own stuff.
With their gun stuff.
Yeah. But men in Africa, males in Africa from a very young age, we were kind of like boxed in this, can't say box again, we're placed in this box that is full of certain tenets that they say should be male. Provider, protector, warrior, beater of women if necessary. They call it what? It's a very common English word. Namfundisha. Wow, that word has escaped me. But it's that thing for like taming. Like they try to make men be like, your job on earth is
to tame women.
Is to tame women, is for people to bow down to you, to be the provider. So you realize that men, like women, are humans. So that means any emotion that a woman goes through, a man does. Notice I said emotion, not pain, because I know someone will be like, well, men cannot give birth. Men don't. I'm talking about emotion. I'm not talking about physical things. Of course, there's very different pains that men and women feel. But when it comes to emotions, emotional intelligence, psychology even, to a large extent, we're both the same. But you see, if guys have been told from this young age, you have to be like this. I love that women are just told, just be you.
Be a baby girl.
Not even baby girl, just as in, don't hide how you feel. I love that women are told, do you feel bad? Do you feel like you've been disrespected in your office by your boss? Speak about it. Guys are just told, rub some dirt, dust it off your shoulder, nini, don't cry. What are you, a woman? Ha ha ha. What the fuck is that shit? That's the reason why a lot of guys now have issues, because they have trouble expressing themselves. They can't be genuine about how they feel because they're out of fear of, if I really tell my feelings, how I really feel about this situation, about this person, I'll be labeled weak, I'll be labeled inferior, I won't be seen as being the idea of a man. And then the reason why all those fears come up is because if you don't check the list of men, the manliness checklist, what will happen? You will never find a woman.
And do you think that contributes to what has been happening in the recent years, where you hear, like you are a journalist, you guys covered too much, a lot of, what is it called, when we had these cases of men butchering women in Airbnb.
Yes.
Do you think whatever you've said, that men have been boxed in a certain place where they can't express themselves, and when they meet this girl, the only place they can express themselves is on them, and that it ends up being, unfortunately, a murder case?
No. This is what I will say.
That's interesting. I expected a yes.
No. People who kill women are murderers. That's just it. Like, it's not a... I don't believe this narrative of I was a... Hold up before you say this, Nick. Think about it for a second. Okay, yes. I don't believe in the narrative of women... I was raised in a house with only women, and I was made to feel like I wasn't much. So when I became an adult, I had to revenge, and that's why I butcher and rape women. No, rapists and murderers are just that. They're rapists and they're murderers. They wake up, they'll go to church, they'll think about raping and murdering. They'll be in a matatu paying fare, complaining about the taxes that the government, but also at the back of his mind, they're thinking about raping and murdering.
Okay, maybe let's talk about that intentional murdering. Let's talk about this where you're in an Airbnb with your woman, and then this guy is in an Airbnb with a woman, and then something comes up, and then they just end up, they just stabbed each other. Maybe they never meant, maybe you never thought of stabbing someone ever in your life, but that night it happened. Do you think it's emotions that have been bottled?
Yes. That one is, yes, we can say that one is about emotions that have been bottled up by both parties. Because, conflicts begin from a breakdown of communication. I have been in a situation where I was almost stabbed by a woman I was dating. And
hey, tell us more. Ngoja.
Nah, I've told this story a dozen times. It's not that glamorous. Here's the thing. All I will tell you is the moral of the story is, if you're going to break up with someone, don't break up with them in the kitchen. That was just dumb. That was just dumb on my part.
That's not a balcony either.
And you know what? I hate that we have to use her as an example for this, but it's actually, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. So she was a lady who had trouble articulating how she felt. So she would get very aggressive, especially when drunk, when she drank alcohol, rather. So...
Are we talking about your most recent ex?
No. Oh, okay. God, this was like... I was probably like... I wasn't even 25.
Okay.
What? I think I was like 22.
So you almost lost Nick at 22.
Nah, I think even we've spoken... We even laugh about it. Okay. She laughs more about it than I do. I'm just like, yeah, you almost did though. But here was the thing. She had a problem with articulating how she felt. So because of how she'd act out from drinking, I was like, hey, I don't think I want to be in this relationship. I was 21 actually at the time. And as a young guy, hutaki stress, you don't want to help someone, you're just thinking of yourself.
Yeah.
So I went and told her, I don't think this relationship is working. I think we should break up. No, that's not what I said. I said, I think we need to think about our relationship, because she was cutting onions and she was like, you're breaking up with me, aren't you? And I was like, no. And then my eyes are just looking where, and all I saw was the window. Bro, I jumped out of a window. I was chased halfway across.
Chased with a knife?
No. Okay. No, so she lived in Madhari. So there was this, to her house, kulikuwa na kakona, kuna wa boys wanakaa hapo. I never used to greet these guys when I went by myself, because they would just look at me like,
umekuja kukula kwetu.
Right? But when I was with her, yeah. So I jump out of the window. I just remember her shouting to those guys, Shiko boy. And then all these guys just got up in unison, like in the opening sequence of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They all just got up, and I was chased. Luckily, there was a matatu coming. I ran. The conductor saw me being chased. So he was like, this guy must be a thief. So it was those big mats. So akaanza kufunga mlango. So I'm like, no, wait, just wait. Luckily, I jumped in before he closed the door, and the only thing because he was trying to push me off, and the only thing that saved me was because in my deep, deep fear, like I was so scared, and when I guess this happens.
You summoned your inner power.
No, I started speaking very, very fast. So I remember I was just like, oh my God, these guys are trying to kill me. I don't even know why I came here. Please just get me out of here before these guys murder me. Everyone looked at him and was like, he talks like he doesn't live here. Get him in there. So I think they were just like, ausimse wa madari. Also because I think I'd peed my pants. So they were like, this guy he can't be the one in the wrong. But anyway, we forgave it. I forgave her. She forgave me for also being a dick. I was also kind of a dick when we were together. And now we're good we're not good friends, but we're not enemies. And then she found Jesus. Shout out to you.
So you do agree, like, no matter what happens in relationships, no matter what happens, a man, it's both ways. You contributed, because if you had not been a dick, in your own words, she'd never have.
Right?
Yeah. So you're also part of the problem.
But I hate this Pandora's box we're opening. But it's a thing. It's two ways. I'm like, it's, it's two ways. It's two ways. I'm sorry.
Just go ahead. It's like
I have to die on this hill, because I just realized when I say that, it sounds like I'm saying every woman who gets hit by their boyfriend must have done something. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying conflict is a result of breakdown in communication. That communication can be as simple as I'm walking with my girl, and I've never told my girl that I have self-esteem issues, nini, and when I see her looking, if a guy who's hot walks by and she's like...
You mean Jessie, if Jessie walks by, yeah.
Sure. If Jessie walks by, and then she's like, and then I'm like, oh, and then I just start chapaing her. You know, if she knew from the get-go...
This guy has this...
if she knew, I'm like, so this is where I'm trying to go with this to make this make sense. If she knew from the get-go that this person has self-esteem issues or blah, 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 or blah, 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 she probably wouldn't have even gone out with that person.
Yeah.
We go out, we choose to hook up with people based on what they present. Me, for example, I dated a woman who turned out to be a lesbian. Now, I didn't know that from when I met her, because she never presented that side of herself to me until we found ourselves in a situation where, oh my God, she saw a woman and she liked her and she slept with her and then told me the next time.
And you're still dating? At that point, you're still dating?
Yes, but then we broke up right after that. And she was like, because I'm not into dick.
Hey, Nick,
my dick was bad. Fuck. That's what my best friend said, because two women have left. I've broken up with two women because they became lesbians. Now I know how that sounds. God, that sounds awful. It's me. I think
I always say they had the most painful way for a man to lose a woman
is to another,
is to another woman.
Mazen, bro, these girls, not the ones that I dated, super hot, but the girls they hooked up with, and I was like, girl, I am not even mad. Do you get a little group? Maybe we can hang out, just coffee, sex, or, but no, it was emotional intelligence for me anyway. The two girls, they were like, the problem with you, Nick, is you don't, because I used to have that issue of keeping, of not looking weak, because growing up, I had two older brothers. Two very smart older brothers, two very attractive older brothers. So, and then me, I was not good in school. I had braces from the time I was like 8. I had a weight problem, and then I was dangerously shy. So, where was I going with this? As a result, if there's one thing I wanted when I became an adult, I was like, you have to be like a man, because you're too soft. They used to say I was soft in school, especially in primary school. So because of that, I was always trying to present a machismo side to myself whenever I'm into. And then I found myself thrown into the public eye because acting in the theaters from the time I was 20. I started doing radio when I was 21. So I'm suddenly in events, you're meeting all these people, and then the weird thing about these fucking things, microphones, they amplify your voice to make you sound deeper than you actually are.
I agree.
Right? So I remember one time I met someone who's like, you sound like Nick, only like a younger version. And I'm like, it's because I'm speaking on a microphone when you hear me on the radio. So I was always trying to be like a macho person, not really showing how I really feel. And that, I can confidently say, contributed to 98% of the breakdowns in my relationships. I've been 17 relationships.
17? Nick.
I've never been single. Okay, until I got divorced. That was the first time since age 20 that I was not with someone. 17. I have 16 exes. And boy, do they have stories to tell.
So there's a 17th. Not an ex.
Not an ex. No, I'm seeing someone right now.
Okay. Is that the first time?
Mulidhani nitabaki kwa soko. I'm sorry. I'm a very nice person nowadays.
Are you still soft? Do you think we should leave you because you're soft?
Now, let's talk about soft, shall we?
Yeah, right.
What is this definition of soft? Is soft like crying? This morning, my girlfriend and I were watching 8 Mile, the Eminem movie.
Hey, don't tell me you cried on it.
Hey, let me tell you what. And if my arm was long enough, I would have fucking patted myself on the back all day. Because it was that scene, the last scene where Eminem now does the freestyle and he wins the rap battle. And the other rapper is so scared, he doesn't even spit, he chokes and drops the mic. And because my girlfriend has never watched it, imagine.
Hey.
She's never watched it.
She's not a movie person, yeah?
She is, but she says this about me all the time. I have really good taste in movies because I'm an actor. But so she was watching and she's like, wow. Because she loves Eminem. And me, I was crying. She's like, Nick, what the fuck are you doing, Nick? And I'm just like, he finally realized his dream. And she's like, she told me, I really like that you can be in touch with your feelings about stuff like that. Most people will call that soft. Yeah. Men crying is soft. Men cooking is soft. Men, what else have I been told? Men getting manicures is soft. And I'm like, nah.
Men opening doors, men doing this. Yeah.
So to answer your question, I guess yes, I still am soft. But I don't think she will leave me for that.
I don't think that's been soft. And I mean, this is a contention I always have with my friends. I always say, it's okay for a man to be vulnerable. It's very okay for you to just sit down and cry.
Yeah.
It's very okay.
It's very human.
It's even locking yourself inside a room and just shouting, yelling, take a pillow, yell, cry. It's okay. And I think when you do that, it does something to your soul. It does something to the pain that you're currently feeling. It somehow just relieves the pain. But now if you keep bottling it,
if you keep on, that's
one day
how
it just bursts up in you somewhere that it shouldn't burst, and
exactly.
it may probably get you in trouble that
in
you should have
trouble.
avoided.
I mean, I don't know whether this can count for an example today, because I was reading up on this story about the guy Ian Njoroge.
Ian Njoroge. I was about actually to mention that guy.
Right? And there was this school of thought where people are like, he's frustrated, the youth, no jobs, nini. But then there was this other guy who introduced this train of thought of this guy laid his hands on an authority figure because in his home he was never taught to respect authority. Let me tell you, he's not the first Kenyan to want to punch a motherfucking cop.
Yeah.
And he won't be the last. But you know why we don't do that? Because we know what authority does. We were taught as kids, respect authority, because if you disrespect them, the repercussions will be much, much
And
worse.
authority starts from your dad.
And it starts from your dad, it goes on all the way till outside. So when you see someone frustrated and they go and they lash out at their bosses, I'm always like, I know you've been pushed to the edge. I get it. People get pushed. But if you keep on bottling things up.
So we can easily say that parenthood is also a very huge contribution when it comes to the problems men go through.
Yeah. The people who raised you play a really huge role in the kind of person you end up being. I was raised by very liberal parents. I was only beaten once by my dad, once by my mom.
Once, Nick, you are a very good kid.
But do you know why? Because that ass whooping, I remembered it every single time I even attempted to do something which I told myself, do you think dad will approve of this? Do you think mom will approve if they find out? Then I remember that ass whooping and I'm like,
it's not worth it.
I will respect the authority. You don't have to like it, but authority aside, bottling up emotions is a really bad thing. People
still on that authority thing. And most people tend to disagree. I think men were naturally born to be the leaders.
Naturally,
head of family, like in a family structure.
Really? I don't think so.
Why not?
I think that's just a societal construct which can even be backdated to as far as the Bible.
But if you go to as
far as the Bible, exactly. Because sometimes I'm like, what about their islands? There are two small populations around the world where there's like few guys, and the guys are the ones who cook, the women are the ones who do all the hard work. I remember I read about one, it's either in Asia or close to Asia, but a place like that really exists. This is not like some fictional Amazon Wonder Woman shit, but this is an actual place. Now, are they wrong to apportion all the hard work, all the leadership and maintaining things to the women? No, I don't think so.
So what is the trick of coexisting? Since if you don't believe that men and naturally should be the leaders, what is the trick of coexisting?
I think.
Do you believe that a man can? This might sound very bad, but anyway, it's a discussion. Do you believe that a man can be a house husband? Like, do you believe that the wife can go and just do all the hard work and you sit home and just do all the house chores?
Now, look, Jesse, I respect you as a filmmaker and as a human being. And as someone who likes to put on dreads, daring as they may be. But let me tell you, one of my biggest goals was to be a house husband. In fact, when I was married, there was a time my wife and I had this discussion, and she was like, how would you feel if I just work, I make us money, and then, you can stay at home with the cats, you can clean, cook? I was like, yes. Today, I will stop today. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's how you look at it. I mean, sasa nikipata dem and I do job, she's being paid 2 million shillings a month. Okay? Me with my radio, my acting stuff, let's say I'm pulling in 100,000 shillings a month. And then she's like, yo, I got us. But you know what? I work from 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. You do radio, how long? 4 hours. And then you're in the house. You can just chill in the house and just,
Yeah, just forgo the 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm doing it. It's okay. It's okay. It's the labels that we have attached to something like housewife. You always see a woman with mtoi on her back. Very limited education. Weak, obedient, submissive rather, not obedient, submissive.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the wrong connotations that we give to things. I don't mind being a house husband. Are you hearing that, girlfriend? If you ever get married and unajisikia
kukuweka,
hey, please weka me. I like to be wekwa. See, me I can be a baby girl. I'll be chill and be like, hey, nah. But like
so our society is messed up because they're tags. That's what.
Yeah, those tags and it's so negative. That's the problem. We've made them seem like it's even made like being a housewife is a bad thing. It's not like whenever you meet someone like, oh, this is my wife, what does she do? Oh, she's just a housewife. That's usually what they'll say. She's just
a housewife.
They won't say, that's my wife. She's just a manager in a bank.
I think a housewife is a professional as just being a manager in the bank.
Exactly. And when you think about it, managing a house where watoi, maybe you have pets, spouse, you have to keep it clean, you have to make sure food. It's a whole thing. I wish housewives got paid. I genuinely wish housewives got paid.
But I think smart men will pay their housewives. If your woman is home the whole day.
Yeah, in cash and in kind.
Salary, in cash and in
if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think now? This generation of ours, or the men in general, especially the younger men. What do you think should be a tag that will drive us forward? That will give us that forward thinking that this should not be the case. This should not be like this. What do you think is that tag that we should have as men? Like to say it's okay, because not every man will come and say publicly like me I'm okay I'm okay to be a housewife. Yeah. Not every man will come out and say that.
But some of them sure do think it. Yeah, but they would never say
most of us think about it. Most of us are like, it's okay if my work is just to sit home, clean, cook, watch Netflix, do ABCD, run to the shops. That's an okay job. That's an okay job. Because you're doing it at your comfort. You're not moving anything. It's just, you can just decide, okay, I don't want to do it right now, I'll do it in the next 10 minutes, let me just take a nap. But now you can't do that in the office. But so what do you think is a tag that we should use as men? To have that forward thinking.
I think we should be honest about how things make us feel. First and foremost, honesty about how things, situations, and people make us feel. But also, I think men need to. We need what are you saying, Nick? You're saying I'm trying to say that men need to be shown. They need to see different versions of what a man is.
Or it's not just the one version of a man is this and a man is that.
Like if someone says strong man, the two images that will come to your head is strong physically, and then also someone who has gone through so much shit but is still standing.
Yeah.
A strong man can be someone who mobilizes an entire community. There's this guy, I must give him a shout out. He's called Lamek Opio. Lamek Opio is 25 years old. Lamek Opio is an environmental activist. This guy, legit, I think is going to be the next Wangari Maathai. This guy mobilizes people to do a lot of conservation activities all around. He's been doing it from his home area, and now he's doing it on a larger scale in Nairobi. He's about to work with a foundation called Africa Wildlife Foundation, which is like a really big thing for conservancy in Kenya, in Africa actually. And the person who's trying to pull him into that was like, I can't believe that a 25-year-old is bold enough to go and mobilize all these young and old people and get them to give a fuck about the environment much more than a minister of
The environment
forestry,
itself.
environment, all that will do.
Yeah.
That is a strong man, in my opinion. Because I'm like, you could have done anything with your time. You could have done anything. You could have gone anywhere. You choose to go educate people on a subject they don't want to talk about, they don't like talking about, they have scanty knowledge on, because you believe it will change their lives for the better. That to me is a strong man. So we need to see it like there are different versions of people, of men. Even, we have to talk about them because they are men.
Yeah.
Homosexuals are men.
Yeah.
Drag queens, the drag queens are men who dress up like women. Like,
Oh, they're called drag queens.
yes, they're called drag queens.
I didn't know that.
RuPaul's you should watch the show. It's really nice.
Drag
and
queens.
and drag queens, shout outs to drag queens, the creativity. Let me tell you, I've watched like maybe 7 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race, and you see these men. You see these men sit down with a sewing machine, and they literally sew their outfits from scratch. The bustiers, the bras, the bralettes, the panties, everything. They put it all together, and then they spend like an hour or 2 or 3 doing makeup. And in the end, you look and you ask yourself, you went through all that time, all that money, because that shit is not cheap, and all that effort so that you can look like a woman. Why? Because it makes them feel good and gives them a sense of purpose. That's a strong man still to me.
Well, that's interesting.
But yeah,
Hey,
I'm sure someone will be like, nah, this nigga gay.
Actually, that's going to be.
It won't be the
proper-
first time. It won't be the first time. People have called me gay since I was in high school.
Why? Are you gay?
I felt like you asked it like, why are you gay? No, I'm not. I am not gay, but I will not lie. I have no problems with homosexuality and gay people. In fact, I have a lot of gay friends. I respect if your choice is to express yourself sexually that way, that's you. I don't give a fuck who you fuck.
That's your
How
business.
is that helping? How will that change my life? It literally will not, in no shape, way, or form. Please, do you.
Speaking of now, let's take another. You've been a victim of online nini. I remember Nick, there was a time you were trolled. I was confused whether to call you.
Nearly trend number 1.
And it was for days.
First time in my life I was number 1. That's so good.
And it was for days. I was very confused because I was like, do I call him? Do I text? What do I do? I don't know if I texted you on IG or I can't.
I think it was IG that we spoke.
I think I spoke with you on IG during that period. And do you think that the way the situation now, talking about the imbalance in the society, because you were affected more than the lady. I don't think the lady was affected as much as you did. You were properly whooped. Nick, you were whooped.
Well, when it comes to who got insulted more, yes, definitely
You got there.
Yeah, because people had there was. I mean,
Do you think that's a weakness? Do you think that that's a weakness in our society? Like, you'll just jump on, and if it were vice versa, if it were vice versa, let's say if it was, I don't know, let me just use it. If it was your ex-wife that closed her womb, do you think that should have been abused and beaten down the way you were?
I don't think so. I think because the reaction from society would have been, it's fine, Nick, just go find another girl and knock her up. Simple pimple. Society would rather throw away a woman who has chosen not to have children and rehabilitate a man who has chosen not to have children. Because everyone was like, one of the biggest questions I received was, is a vasectomy reversible? And I'm like, why don't you Google it? I mean, it is reversible.
But there are two types. There is the reversible and there is the non-reversible. Is yours reversible?
I don't even know, and I don't care. Do you know why? Because the moment you have committed to the decision of getting a vasectomy, I would like to assume that like everyone else who has ever gotten a vasectomy was like me, who spent years thinking about it and made the conscious choice of, okay, I am 100% certain I do not want to have children. It wasn't I don't know, I don't feel like kids right now. If you don't feel like kids right now, use a fucking condom. It's that easy. I chose to never have children. And people will ask me.
That's not just.
It's not a now thing. It's not. It's since I was. I want to say since I was 18.
So Nick, you don't want any legacy.
Do you think children are the only legacy you can?
I don't think they're the only legacy, but
yeah.
I mean,
there's lots.
Okay, maybe I asked the question wrongly. But
yeah.
Do you think you don't want to have
a
generation?
No.
You don't want the name Ndeda to continue.
It will. My brother has children.
Oh, it's also called Ndeda.
Yeah. In fact, shout outs to my nephew. My nephew is called Jaden Gathagu Ndeda. He's 12 years old. He's 13 years old.
He's already a man.
Yeah.
So do you think that it's the society is so hard?
And Jerome, the brother, he's cool too. Jaden's brother is called Jerome. Imagine I have a Jaden in our family. Oh, Kenyans, we're so beautiful. We're so beautiful.
Do you think the society is messed up in the sense that it's easy to attack the boy child online than it is to attack a girl child? Because I mean, if a lady trends online, she's trended because of her OnlyFans page, or she's trended because, if I'm talking about the negative stuff, not the positive stuff, she's trended probably because of, and some people might say OnlyFans is not negative.
I know, right?
And
that's right.
Or probably she's trended because of some weird shit like nudes.
Yeah.
Like her nudes leaked. But if the same was reversed to a man, the society beats down the man properly than they will beat down a lady.
I think it's more of visibility. And by visibility, I mean, there's this woman who gets tukanadwa a lot online. I believe it's Maverick. Maverick Aoko, right?
But you know she's a thick skin.
Right? Like they hate. I've seen people say all sorts of things like, I hope you get raped, I hope...
people do say that?
Like, yeah, people say really nasty shit to her. Now, this is the thing
about...
or
just online?
No, online. And this is what I mean by visibility. It's because she's very visible on the social media sphere.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, for guys, it's almost like for Maverick, they place her, she's placed like on the same pedestal as guys, where the insults are, because you know guys are told you can diss a guy kwani atalia because he's a sissy, because he's a bitch, because he's a pussy. Fuck that guy. In fact, diss him even more, because strong men were not supposed to take all that shit.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very sad. I just think people would do that to women, but they don't. Not all men do that to women when it comes to insults online, and it's because they think that, you know, if you diss a woman, she'll cry, she'll lose self-confidence, and then she'll be completely destroyed, which can happen to a guy as well.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I hate all insults online. I feel like if you have to go online to diss someone, fuck you. Secondly, just don't do it. But you're right. Yeah, guys do get it worse because we're expected to be able to handle it.
And is that a problem to the boy child? Do you think that some people can't handle it, some people can't handle it?
Yes.
So that's a problem.
Yes, it's the reason why a lot of men have low self-esteem. It's the reason why a lot of men are closed up. It's because they can't handle it, but they can't say that they can't handle it, because then they will prove society right that, you really are a wimp, you really are a sissy, you really are a pussy. You should not be alive. You should wear tampons. That's why people use such insults like, oh, you need to adjust your bra. Why are you talking like that? I'm like, what the fuck?
So those people online that do that, do you think they have a sense of bitterness in them?
Sana.
That it just pours out online?
What you can't give something you don't have. Okay? When I see people bashing down, like Nani, I really want to believe, and only because I heard someone say it, and I've read it online as well. Remember when Elsa Majimbo popped up? Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about rich Elsa Majimbo,
Like
Fenty. I'm talking about the one with the cheap-ass shades. Her hair was all fucked up. But, you know, that was...
Eating kribas, those
eating
kribas.
crisps, right?
Yeah.
And I remember people used to say, this girl is so ugly. And then nowadays, I look at Elsa's photos nowadays, I'm like, I wonder if the same people still call her ugly. There was one who she called out. But here's the thing. You abuse her because that's what you see in yourself. That's what you see in yourself.
So just pour in what's in you.
Yeah, you can't give something you don't have.
So by the time you go online to hate on someone, you already have self-hate inside.
You have, exactly. And self-hate in Kenya is on such a grand scale because, especially as Kenyans, and we really need to look into this because our self-hate stems from colonization, first of all. That's the first form of self-hate that we have, which led to us having low self-esteem. Second tier of self-hate that Kenyans experience is the class system of you're either rich or you're poor. Because this thing for middle class, people lie to themselves. Middle class is just a word in Kenya. It doesn't exist as a...
Someone calls them upper poor.
I mean, right? Because now there's that. We've got colonization. We've got rich versus poor, powerful versus powerless. And then now you compound all that stuff. By the time you're going online and then you see someone shining. Like, it's true. I think 99% of us, and now this is not just Kenya, but because we're in Kenya, I have to mention this to
reference
Kenyans.
the country, yeah.
99% of us post things to make others feel envious of us. We don't even post stuff on Instagram for ourselves, like, this is such a cute photo, let me post it. No, it's, I look so good, better than that bitch.
She better know.
Guy. Hey, watch our own name. Fuck that guy.
I'm saying there are some people who are off social media, and you are off of social media. But now you see, for you, you're looking at it as work. But for me, I look at it like a photo album. But the question you've said is very good. Like, is it for me?
Yeah.
Am I doing it for me?
I like the photo album analogy because imagine there are people who are not. Do you know there actually are people on social media who, for example, on Instagram, the only people they follow are their family members. Because, like you said, photo album, this is just capturing memories. The people who have private accounts, for example, stuff like that.
I used to have one. I don't know why I changed.
See, maybe not enough women were like...
Yeah, not enough women were like
looked after my damn Instagram. Let me tell you. Hey, it's not the worst place. You can meet people in worse places, but social media... Anyway, point is...
Do you have an experience of that?
Of meeting someone on social media?
And then, I think...
I was catfished once. I was catfished once in... 2009? I think 9.
How did that go? Tell us about it. What happened?
Long story short. So, Facebook days, actually, humble times, simple times, naive times, when it was just Facebook, and people weren't very tech savvy. Most people, okay, let me not say most people, I didn't know that you can go to a website for models, for example, pick out a model, find out who that model is, find other work that model has done, cut, paste, copy, paste, download, whatever the fuck, a bunch of them, make a profile, and someone would believe
it's you.
That was you. Because I even remember the name. I can't say it because I know her, and she knows what...
she did.
She knows and I called her out on it. So I once got a friend request from this beautiful girl who looked like a model. And she's like, I'm just in Daystar University. I'm like, in first year. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm in
Daystar.
USIU. I'm in my,
Catfish.
I think I was in my, Daystar. She just happened to be in Daystar. I won't.
And that was being in Daystar part of the facade that she had built.
No. She was legit in Daystar. And I was like, okay, I mean, you Sayu, blah, 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 we should hook up sometime. But each time I would ask to hook up, she would bail. But I had her number, I'd call, and she sounded, and I remember I'd listen to the voice and like,
It doesn't match the picture.
maybe it's just a one-off. Until the day her friend, and hey, this is such a fucked up story. So her friend, because I was on radio at the time, her friend won a prize on my show. So her friend came to the studio to pick up her gift.
Hey.
And then she tells me, by the way, you're friends with a friend of mine, a classmate of mine. She's called, and I'm like, oh. And then she's like, yeah, bro, that's not her. I'm like, what do you mean? That's
So
not
the
her.
friend sold her out.
She was there. She had, because she came with a friend. But
So the friend is telling you that the friend is there.
not only she telling me, yes, she's like, my friend, the one you talk to online.
downstairs.
She's downstairs. She wanted to see you in the flesh, but she thought that I was going to come outside. But instead I told her to come inside. So she was afraid to come with, because she was like, Ude matani chomea. And she did, and I called her out, I talked.
Right then?
No, it's like I DM'd her later that day. I told her, I've been told that these are fake photos, this is not you, show me who you really are, blah, 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 nini.
And
God.
did she ever show herself?
Yeah, imagine in a weird twist of fate, I did a show called Higher Learning. And
Yeah, I remember Higher
Higher
Learning. That's one of
the
the
NTV show. And
Yeah,
then
that's-
we're doing press shots. And guess who is the fucking stylist?
Ha.
I think she, okay, so the name she used to use was not her real name. I will just explain her name and how it ended. So, we're doing press shots, and then because her name on Facebook used to be something else, but I knew what she looked like because her friend showed me a picture like, this is her. So now when I met her during the fittings, she told me her real name. And I was like, okay, nice to meet you. And then now later, after the press shots were done, I called her by that other name. I was like, by the way,
I know.
I know. Because you see, during the catfish story, when I told her, I know that this is not you, all she knew was, Nick knows that this girl is not me. But Nick doesn't know my real name. Nick doesn't know what I look like.
Shock on her.
Anyway.
Damn, such a sad story.
You live and you learn.
Yeah, you live and you learn. Anyway, thank you so much, Nick, for coming, man.
Thank you for having me. Kudos on your project. I hope that it lives up to the words that you said at the beginning of the show, and that men let's stop being stereotypes of men and be men.
Tutakuwa wanaume, itabidi.
Itabidi man.
Tutakuwa wanaume.
We gotta do it.
Thank you so much. Asanteni sana for tuning in. Stay tuned. Kuna more episodes that are coming. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, share, like, comment up with your. Tell us if you're that catfish friend that Nick. And just right there. It's okay. Hata sisi tuta identity yako. Don't worry. Na kama wewe ndio unataka kustab Nick, pia hapo comment. It's okay. But it's been an interesting conversation. Thank you so much. And see you on the next one.